In our series, The World After Coronavirus, today we have with us Marcia McNutt. Dr. McNutt is the president of the National Academy of Sciences, and she has also served as the editor-in-chief of the journal Science. And we're going to ask her today what she thinks would be the future of science in a post-COVID world.
I believe that it will be forever changed, in many ways for the better. Certainly, scientists will need to return to close collaborations with other scientists in the lab. We've learned the hard way from reproducibility that sometimes the only way to truly understand how one group has done an experiment is to observe it firsthand. But I think we will find other ways to do that than maybe personal presence. And I think the future of science could be a lot more inclusive than it was before the coronavirus. In the following way, scientists tended to be a rather clubby group. There were people who knew each other because they had been students together, they had been postdocs together, but there were others who might have been half a country away in another lab that they didn't get to know well. I think because of the experience we've had collaborating with others, we might find that there are good ways to build trust and to discover talents that we have never had the opportunity to have close physical presence with. And I think that will be to the benefit of science.
When you say that you think science will not only not remain the same, but it will change in better ways, might there also be things that are lost? For example, might fear set in for certain types of work or certain types of collaboration?
There will be negatives that come out of this. Let me give one specific example. One of my colleagues has been undertaking a very, very long-term research project that has involved maintaining living organisms over multiple generations for 30 years now. And of course, he had to shut down his lab, as did everyone else. What are going to be the incentives for those who come after him to even want to undertake long-term time series if they fear that they could be shut down for reasons that have nothing to do with the science or their own ability to gain funding or anything to do with their own initiative? So I do think there are certain types of science that could be discouraged because of the concern of lab shutdowns.
If we've talked about the process of science, what would be your thoughts on the content? What do you think might be the impact of what we work on?
The sorts of science that I have seen brought to bear on this particular pandemic run the gamut, everything from the fundamental nature of how viruses mutate within various hosts, all the way to very practical things about their persistence in different temperature regimes and on different surfaces. So I'm not sure that there will be much argument to be made as a result of this pandemic that more basic science or more applied science is more valuable. We have seen it all come to fruition in terms of its ability to deal with this disaster. What I think has been interesting is the ingenuity across the board of scientists who have come from rather far afield and found that their talents nevertheless are useful. I was just reading on the internet today about how some engineers who have been working to build fuel cells redirected their efforts overnight to fix respirators for hospitals. I mean, that's an immediate about face that's going to make a huge difference in the numbers of lives saved. And that's the kind of turning on a dime response that shows the value of broadly educating everyone in the science and engineering workforce.
How would you rate science in this moment? When something has come up that's new, it's called novel. How has science responded to it in your view?
If I had to grade the scientists' response to this pandemic, I don't think I could say it better than a paraphrase of what I saw on Twitter recently. It is those scientists have been enlisted into an Olympic competition that they didn't ask for, and they are medaling in every event.